Now, I would hate to say I told you so, but I tried to told you. I tried to tell you people Gennady Golovkin will be stripped from the IBF. Of the IBF, okay? Look, I saw it coming. I saw it coming like a freight train a mile away. And I made a video titled, you can search my video library, titled Gennady Golovkin loses the IBF or stripped of the IBF, whatever. Okay, and then I would like you, for further entertainment, read the comment section where people told me I was crazy. Oh, it's clickbait. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, I love it. It feels good to be right, and I'm not bragging, but I saw it coming. Now, I'm gonna do things a little bit unorthodox tonight. I'm gonna give you a few of my own private, personal, unique insight, thoughts, whatever. Then we're gonna do a little bit of reading. Okay, now, okay, just to break it down, Sergey Darvincheko. Okay, the deal was that Golovkin had to agree to fight this dude within 90 days of May 5th. Okay, and they did so. You know, Tom Loeffler, he filed an extension or whatever with the IBF, and it was approved. But there was a stipulation. The stipulation says that it needed to be in writing. Okay, Golovkin had to agree in writing to fight him by August 3rd. Okay. But how is that possible? If they're chasing a Canelo rematch, how are you going to fight this dude in August and Canelo in September, right? So, I mean, it's impossible. Now, who's to blame? We can play the That's my son right there. We can play the blame game. Do you blame the IBF? Okay. Do you blame Gennady Golovkin? Do you blame Lou DiBella? Because originally Lou DiBella, sent the letter to the IBF, forcing the issue, saying that they need to put pressure on Golovkin. They need to demand the fight, and things like that. So, who do you blame? Who do you blame? And I'll tell you who to blame in just a little bit. Okay, but let me get to let's get to the bread and butter here. All right, let's get to the thick of the story, the breaking news. Now, and in light of Oscar De La Hoya saying that all negotiations have stopped. Okay, there will be no more negotiations because Golovkin will not come off. The half. He wants half. He wants 50-50. And he said no, and if he can't move from that percentage, we're not going to continue negotiating. Okay, a day later, 2 days later, boom, they drop the hammer on Golovkin. He gets, talk about a bad week, okay? Talk about a bad week. Now, okay, let me read this real quick. One day after Golden Boy Promotions CEO Oscar De La Hoya said he was ending talks with Camp for a September 15th rematch with Canelo Alvarez because of Golovkin's unwillingness to move off the unacceptable, which I don't agree with that, demand for a 50-50 purse split, Triple G was stripped of one of the three major belts by the IBF on Wednesday, okay, for failure to fight mandatory challenger Sergey Darvincheko. Okay, now this is what Tom Loeffler had to say. It comes as a complete shock that the IBF would make a ruling far beyond what the Darvincheko side was asking for. Golovkin promoter Tom Loeffler told ESPN, shout out ESPN, okay. They weren't asking for him to be stripped. They were asking to have their shot at the IBF title next, okay. But they never asked him to be stripped. In light of this ruling, I think the IBF has completely mistreated Gennady Golovkin in the worst treatment they have ever shown any unified champion in their history. Wow. I mean, look, that's a deep statement right there, that they've treated Golovkin worse than any other champion in boxing history. And I have to agree. I mean, this is harsh, okay? Now, I told you I'd give you my own opinion, but let me read a little further because you've got to know all the details. It's very important. May 22nd, the fighters and their teams gathered at a hotel in New Jersey for a 4.5 hour hearing on the matter, during which both sides presented their cases. Okay, the sanctioning body had 10 business days to rule, which it did on Wednesday, notifying both camps via letter, okay, through an email, a copy of which was obtained by ESPN. Okay, the issue with the IBF arose after Golovkin scheduled May 5th, blah, 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 blah. Basically, they said, look, you have, 90 days. I'm not going to read it all. You got 90 days. And and we want it in writing, a guarantee in writing. So they didn't do that. But here's where the confusion comes in, okay? The IBF declined to sanction the bout, and they're talking about the Marty Rosen fight. Okay, I'm jumping forward to save time. The IBF declined to sanction the bout, so Gennady Golovkin's IBF belt was not at stake. But it did not strip him because Loeffler paid a $20,000 fee on April 20th to consider his request for an exception. Okay, so basically, the exception was granted. Okay, they gave Golovkin and his team an exception. But the IBF laid out terms for Gennady Golovkin to keep the title. One of the terms, what he had to agree in writing before the Marty Rosen fight, that he would next fight, Sergey Darbychenko within 90 days of May 5th or by August 3rd. Okay, so they agreed, but with some pretty unrealistic expectations, or expectations. Okay, it's like, yes, we agree. We're gonna give you a pass. We're gonna give you an extension. But we want you to throw away the Canelo fight and fight this unknown dude that you're gonna wipe the floor with, in 90. I mean, how do you do it? How do you fight this dude in August and then fight Canelo in September? Here's what the IBF should have done. Okay, what they should have done is said, look, Canelo popped dirty for PEDs. He's the one to blame. We're gonna, basically move it forward to the Canelo rematch and set the 90 days from there, whatever. Set it from, September or whatever. Give them a little bit of wiggle room. Now check this out. You guys know I do my homework, okay? The IBF, I looked back, at all their fighters and, guys holding the belts hostage. There have been so many fighters that have held the belt hostage for months, years, in fact, okay? I'll make an entire video showing you guys, examples of fighters that have basically that have literally held the belt hostage, for months on end, even up to 1 year. Okay, now Gennady Golovkin has a little issue. He's been, a top-notch champion, okay, a top-notch champion this entire time, a role model for these guys, and one little hiccup that's not even his fault, and they stripped the dude. I mean, it is. I would agree that it is the worst treatment, towards any champion in boxing history. I would completely agree with that. Now, back to this. According to the IBF ruling on April 30, Golovkin 30, blah, 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 blah. Okay, California filed an appeal objecting to the order of having to fight Darbychenko by August 3rd. Attorney Alex Dumbrov, the in-house lawyer for Darbychenko, promoter Lou DiBella, filed a response to appeal on May 7th. At that point, the IBF called for the May 22nd hearing, which was attended by both fighters. After reviewing the written submissions and hearing oral arguments counseled for the parties on May 22nd, the panel, composed of 3 IBF members, all whom are practicing attorneys, made its recommendations. The IBF president, Daryl Peoples, and to the championship committee, accordance with Rule 12.f-whatever. The IBF ruling said the president and the championships committee approved the condition that Golovkin's agreed to fight the IBF middleweight mandatory opponent by August 3rd in order to avoid the penalty of losing his title under Rule 5H. Okay, the IBF ruling further says since Golovkin has not agreed in writing to fight the IBF mandatory by August 3rd, a required condition for the grant of the exception, the request for exception of Rule 5H must now be denied. Denied. The penalty for Golovkin having participated in the unsanctioned contest within the weight class under the Rule 5H is that the IBF middleweight title will be declared vacant. Okay, now what does that mean? What does that mean? It's going to be declared vacant. That means that now Sergey Darbychenko, his next fight is a title fight. He's going to get a shot at the vacant IBF, okay? Against who? Who knows? Probably some guy we've never heard of, right? I mean, look, here's what happened. It's politics. Basically, you have Lou DiBella putting pressure on the IBF, to force him to fight his mandatory. This is crazy. I mean, I can't even believe I'm talking about this. I mean, I'm going to make a video, and you guys know I can do it, and I will do it. Proving that what they're doing here is way out of bounds. It's out of the ordinary. It's very highly unusual, okay? Highly, highly unusual. I mean, how many times, and remember, the IBF, they don't allow step-aside money. They are pretty strict, But, you know, they've bent over backwards for plenty of other guys. Okay, Mayweather, there's a ton of them. Okay, like I said, I will make a video and explain myself further. So, you know, it's a double standard. You know, they're treating Gennady Golovkin like there's a redheaded stepchild. So now, I've always respected the IBF for following their rules. He said they made a completely legitimate ruling beforehand, and they did not strip Gennady Golovkin before his fight with Marty Grossman, but he wasn't going to honor the requirement that he fight Darvincheco next. They never came to us to try to make the fight. It was clear they were not going to try to make the fight, not with the possibility of the Canelo rematch, which looks dead now anyway. So I commend them for doing the right thing, said Lou DiBella. Wow. Oh man, I said this to Gennady Golovkin in person at the hearing, that he's a great champion, and I respect how he's handled himself, and this does not detract from my respect for him. But you can't have it all ways. I told him I'd be rooting for him in the Canelo if the Canelo fight happens. Loeffler did not respond to messages seeking comment. Wow, this is crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it. You know, I just hopped on here to make a quick video, but you guys know I get carried away. And, you know, I mean, look, I told you, let's play the blame game. Who do we blame? I do partially blame Gennady Golovkin, but man, I think they put unrealistic expectations. Like, they set them up to fail. You know, it was like, you know, when you set someone up for failure, they're going to fail. When you tell a guy, look, I want you to go, you know, fight a mandatory, basically the equivalent to a Dominic Wade, you know, versus a 40 or 50 million, 80, whatever, 40, whatever $1 million payday, you know, go fight this dude for 2 million, you know, so it's crazy. So, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's highly unusual, and I'm going to do my best to prove that, you know, this is just, you know, cruel and unusual punishment here. It really is. And I do feel bad for Gennady Golovkin. But like I said, it takes two to play. It takes two to play. You know, maybe they should have just taken it. You know, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. I mean, what do you guys think? Help me out here. I mean, you see, I'm tongue twisted. I don't really know how to feel about it. So, you know, you guys can help me out. Leave it in the comment box below. I can't wait to hear from you.